Hello and welcome to another deck profile brought to you by Double Sleeve. Today we are talking to the one and only Mark Andrews, who participated in the Oceania Online Regionals, coming in at third place. Congratulations, Mark. How did you go in the regionals? Tell us a little bit about how everything went.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Firstly, thanks for having me. Yeah, went 5-1, which was pretty nice. Definitely the best run I've had for a while.
Mm.
Um, only lost in finals, which somehow bumps you to third. I'm definitely not salty about that. Um, but yeah, no, everything ran smoothly from my end on the day, so can't complain about how any of that went.
Awesome. So piloting Gamma 1 and 2, it's a extremely strong deck. If you guys want to catch any of Mark's games, they will be on the channel. So make sure you jump on there to watch this man pilot Gamma to perfection, and you can see really just how much he earned that third place. So Mark, why don't you take us through your deck, explain your leader, and just a breakdown of the cards that you have in there.
Cool. Well, firstly, Gamma 1, Gamma 2. It's an extremely strong leader. Probably the best blue leader, even though there's lots of green in there. So it's more of a blue-green leader. You draw a card when you swing, and you awaken when you got a two-cost unison out there.
Mm.
Uh, Thankfully, there is more than one option for a two-cost unison, and that really opens up the plays of the deck. And then on the front side, or the back side, sorry, you pick up 3 androids. You can put down up to 3 androids, um, and you draw a card. And it's just constant value. You're using your energy on both players' turns for your extremely broken floodgate and for all your effects that you've got. Uh, right, so um, most of this deck is going to look very similar to Jared Lopez's deck that he used to win in the USA recently. Um, So Unison lineup. We only run one of the tag team Unison. I just find that making lots of Z energy is not that important,
Mhm.
um, especially when you don't run the 14-15 searcher, which spoiler, don't run that. Just you won't find yourself with a 5k in the drop quite a lot of time, so you're not actually getting that much value out of this, which is where the strongest part of this value comes from. To complement said unisons, because we need a 2-drop unison, we run 4 of the hit Battlefield Manipulator. This card's so good. This card is so good. +1 draw a card, and then a really broken ability, -1 pay 2, unawaken their leader, which in certain matchups it is absolutely broken.
That's insane. Put them back down to a 10k. Does that keep them for the just that turn? Like when can they awaken again?
So they can awaken until the end of. They can't awaken until the end of their next turn. So basically, when it comes back to me, that's when they can awaken. And then I did it twice. Once against a Red Sin and once against an Android 21, where I unawakened them, came back to me. I swung. They reawakened. So I just paid 2 to flip them back, and they're a 10k leader at that point.
Hard to get a Z awaken on a 10k leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, big time.
So it's such a strong ability, and I think I did it 5 times in total throughout the whole event. Especially against 21 means they can't run extra. They can't use extra cards, which
Mm.
shut down one of my opponents completely. And lastly, a SCR of the deck, Margin Boo. Um, it's Margin Boo. It's just really good. So that's all the unisons that you run. Obviously, you want a mulligan, hard mulligan for a 2-drop unison, because if you
Mm.
don't find one, you're pretty
The brick.
you're not very happy. To help find them, we run 4 of the Android 13s. Just a 1-drop searcher. It's pretty self-explanatory. It looks for a 3 cost or less red ribbon, which is all of your energy fixes and your floodgate. Speaking of which, we run 4 Android 14s.
Mm.
If you can play this card, it's so good.
It's insanely valuable.
Yep. Even under Coit, you can play this. You pitch one from hand, and you pitch another 2. If that's what gets you to your next turn, and you win on the next turn, it's worth 4 cards out of hand just to stop their turn. We run a 4-3 split of the energy fixes. So 17 is the more valuable one because it's got barrier, so it's easier to sit on the board. But Android 18 is also just as good. You need to keep the Android count high enough so that you're not screwing yourself over with the leaders effect. But this can put a whole plethora of androids into your energy, including one which we'll get to at the end of the game, or at the end of this, which is just ridiculous. It's great synergy. To go along with the unisons, we have 3 Android 18, let the battle begin. This one, I was tossing up running 4, I was tossing up running 2, settled on 3. I think I didn't really play this card that much over the tournament. But the times that I did play it, it's extremely valuable. If you're on the play against like 21 or even a Sin matchup, you establish your unison on 2, you awaken, you've got 1 energy up. Even if you don't have this card, you're threatening it, and the threat of this card is more than enough.
I found every time I verse Gamma and that 2-drop unison's out, the first thing I want to do is remove it to make sure that that Android 18 isn't going to come out.
Yep. And if you go for that, then sometimes you get just negated and you can't get through it as well. Speaking of negates, we run 4 Android 17 Defending Friends. One of the MVPs of the day. Should have been the MVP that won me the tournament, but we'll talk about that later. Such an important card for the deck. It really turned this deck from being good to being really good. Having a 1-cost negate that comes out and floodgates the opponent is just so broken, and it's searchable. So
Android base, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. If it gets put into your energy, you just pick it up as part of your pickup 3 at the end of turn, and
that's what blue needed.
It's exactly what blue needed, right? We've got 3 cell, 3 cells heaps. You see it when you need to see it. You don't have. There was a couple of times on stream where I played it from hand, just to hide the fact that I had it. Because it works from hand or energy. You don't have to telegraph it, but sometimes, people are just going to say, "Oh, you've got 4 energy up. You're probably going to sell." So, one of my probably least favorite cards of the day, Android 18, Measureless Strength. You pitch it, search the top 5. Hopefully, you find a super combo. That's pretty much all it's there for. You can charge it. I never rivaled it, and yeah, it didn't feel really good. I sided at least 1 copy out every game. And to almost finish off the multicolor, we've got 4 of the Android 17, 18. This is the original dual color check land for the deck. Again, pay 2, clear something that's equal or greater than their energy, and it's a dual attack 20k. Such a good card. And it gets around a lot of stuff that you just don't want to deal with early game. So even just paying 2 and playing it from hand, if you don't have the unison, if you need to get rid of something problematic, it's well worth to do.
I think the aggressive pressure, people often see Gamma and it's very defensive, all these androids, the negates, the floodgates, but you often forget how aggressive this deck can actually go with all
100%. 100%. Playing this, complementing it with one of the 15 barrier cards, you can swing endlessly, and it's you just restand 3 at the end of the turn. So you put on all this pressure, and then you go back to your turn, and you go back to their turn, and you say, "Do you have an answer for my 14 that I've got in my hand, or my 17?" So
there's no reason not to tap out.
yeah, exactly. You want to be using at least 3 energy every single turn, just to get the maximum efficiency out of it. Sometimes it's not possible, but for the most part, you want to. Super combos, we've got a 3-1 split between Bionic Blitz and Android 8. Uh, Android 18 is the best one for the deck. Just extra hand control. But Android 8 is searchable off the Android 13, whereas the Android 18 is not. And that's the only difference. The only reason why we run just one. And the draw power is nice. Definitely my least favorite card of the day, Android 17 Turning the Tide. It's a necessary evil. The threat of this card is worth more than the card itself. I think there was only two opportunities during the day where I could have played it. Neither one of them would have resulted in any difference to any of my results. So definitely one that got sided out. I think I didn't side it out in the final, which was a mistake, but that's fine. And we'll save these ones. One dirty burst in the main. Pretty self-explanatory. It's dirty burst. You got to run it. You got to respect things. 4 D magic. For the longest time, I stopped running D magics in this deck. But sometimes you just need a hard negate. That's not going to be. You only need to negate 1 or 2 swings in a turn, or you can let one through, and you only need to negate one other. That's where D magic comes in. You just pay it and untap 2, and then just go on with your business and say, hey, look, maybe you've got 1 energy and you untap and you got 2 and you threaten a 14 floodgate. And the last 3 cards of the deck are cards from the new set. 2 Android 21 full power counter. This card is incredible. It is so good. It is exactly what Gamma did not need. Another floodgate. This one costs 4. Unfortunately, it doesn't have deflect. If it had deflect, it would be way too broken. But this is just another floodgate that hits something ignoring barrier, and against certain decks that don't generate Z energy, they just can't swing. It's such a costly thing to swing through. But this was definitely one of my favorite cards of the day. Definitely overperformed.
I just looked at that card in the new green Android 16 deck, and it becomes a 2 cost, and it's insane.
It's a very scary thought.
2 cost Android 21.
It is a very scary thought in that deck. It's going to be problematic. And lastly, the SCR. We run Android 21. There's arguments for Beast, Gohan. I think that nowadays that the more people have been playing with this card, the more is Beast Gohan's gone out the window.
If you draw into it, you're essentially you got a 10 life deck.
Exactly. You take your life down to 6 when you awaken, and then if your opponent builds up a board, you play this down and you go back up to 8 life, and you're restarting the game. You have your advantage by this stage. You're on your backside where you're generating cards and you're generating energy, and your opponent's got to do 8 damage to you, which is ridiculous.
And with the wording, it says you only have to choose cards. They don't actually have to make it under to get that revive skill as well.
Yeah, so correct.
It's so much more broken than if they actually had to make it under the card in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. It works for like tokens and other copies of this, which actually came up. I targeted it, got the recover 2, and then just went on with my business. Z deck, 1 Goku, just in case people have too big a hands. Doesn't normally happen with Gamma unless I'm really trying to push them aggro early. Didn't cast it at all. 2 Beerus. Beerus is such a strong card, especially once you get to, you can pay it for 2, and then you don't care about tapping the last 2. because
Just
you just
let
untap.
it sit on the board until the next turn.
Yep, exactly. One Jiren, it's a necessary evil. It's just nice to be able to have the option to play something, especially against like Margin Vegeta. This is a great finisher because you play it, you choose the effect, and target itself. So if they want to try blow up the board, they're not blowing this up, and this is still a threatening swing. It's just really nice. But I didn't actually cast this one today, so wait,
Yeah, very
yesterday.
situational. It's screening there
Very,
because you
very
can, but
situational.
not that you actually necessarily need.
Yeah, it's got the unison removal factor of it as well, but with this deck we don't generate that much Z energy unless I have to play the tag team unison. So it typically it's not really useful in most situations. Card that is useful, Cell. It's a baby version of the 9-drop. This thing's just so good. Just removes the board. Again, it removes most boards. Margin Vegeta removes most of the board. Removes a big chunk of the board against Android 21, and yeah, there's a lot that this card hits, and the threat of just a dual attack, effectively critical swing at 25k, so good.
Yeah, very good.
And a largely deck card, SSB Vegito, Godly Spirit.
Yeah.
Just barrier blocker, triple strike.
Yeah, it's so much value.
Yeah, especially in a deck that untaps 3 at the end of turn. So good.
Yeah, side deck.
Side deck time. Right, we will go through. We put an extra one of these flood Android 21s. I think I sided this card in almost every game, this third copy. Going forward, I would be maining 3 copies of this and probably switch one out for the Android 18 from earlier because this just overperformed all day. An extra Dirty Burst, respect to SS4 and other decks that want to go big. 2 Krillin the Cunning. Android 21 is not a fun deck to play against if they get their 8 drop out. Especially because I'm playing stuff that gives them energy, so I don't want to be a part of that. So yeah, that comes in every 21 game. 1 Black Smoke Dragon, just in case you go against a Unison heavy deck. I don't think I sided this card in at all. 1 Mickey Kibura, the Broken Seal. This is one card I did side in the final round, but I did not see it, unfortunately.
RNG was not kind.
RNG was not kind to me in that final round. As I was explaining to Gary earlier, I had 5 cards left in deck, 1 life, and the 2 cards that I sided in for the final matchup, these guys right here, were in the last 5 cards and the last life, and also my secret rare was there as well. So 3 out of these 6 cards that would have helped me were stuck in the deck, unfortunately. But it is what it is, so that's fine. For the mirror, Dende, new to the job, run 3 of this. Never played the mirror, didn't come up at all. It's just a nice little piece of tech. And we've got 1 Bad Omen. This can just steal games. Martin Vegeta, it comes in, you try to bait them to get rid of all their life, and then you just pay for and say, okay, cool. And that's all she wrote for that. This is one I wish I sided in for the finals. I didn't. In hindsight, I mean, there's no way of me knowing how the finals would have gone. But if I had this in there, it would have been a lot easier for me. So, and then we've got 2 Son Gohan Power Unshackled. This card is better in theory than it actually is. This card can shut down certain decks. It didn't shut down a single deck that I played.
I've seen it in a lot of Gamma main boards. So the fact having it in the sideboard, it's interesting to see you've taken it in there.
Yeah, it's a nice option because it does only cost one energy to play, and then you pay the other energy to do the preemptive floodgate.
Mm.
Um, but it just doesn't come up, and then the matches that it does come up, um, it's just not as impactful as you think. You can't hide behind it.
Mm.
Uh, in testing, I played against the Gogeta Exodia deck.
Yep.
I played this and I thought I was safe and I could hide behind it. No, I still got cleaned up through it, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this card anymore.
If he was an android, it would be different.
Different story, 100% different story. He's got the SH factor, but that's about it. And last card on the side is Desperate Measures.
Yeah.
This card comes in against 21.
Mhm.
Just in case you lose the die roll, which I lost one die roll against the 21. And I just left one energy up. They thought the coast was clear to ramp on their 2-drop, and it was not. So that's the side. Again, yeah, it's quite similar to what Jared Lopez ran. I was running Gamma for a couple of weeks now before I saw his list. But his list was just way too tidy for me to ignore, and
Yeah. It's
I think
gotta
it was
be
it was
some
about, it was
changes.
about 42 cards that I had similar, and then the last part was him.
Look, obviously, piloted really well, got you a third place finish. Is there anything that you would change? Like, obviously, you've spoke about you'll drop one of the Android 18s to put an Android 21. Is there anything else you would think, oh, I wish I take this in? I wish I put this in my sideboard instead. That would have helped me out.
I don't think there's anything that I wish that I had put in per se. Um, there was a couple of cards I was joking around with putting in. I actually the whole reason why I originally got onto this deck is I've got the card here on my desk was I wanted to find a way to abuse Godstrike Beerus.
Ah.
Um, and this deck untaps you too, and I was very tempted to put this on the side just to catch people off.
Mm.
So maybe I'll stick one or two of those in next time.
Just something spicy for the fun of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not many people are going to, well, not nobody expects a Godstrike Beerus, right? They're going to swing all in on a battle card, and you just choose triple strike or you choose double strike and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes we do things for the memes, and
yeah.
it's just for the fun of playing. Look, is there anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I've got a small list here. I want to shout out to Tech Games. Obviously, they ran an awesome event. As always, like, being a Kiwi, we don't get in-person events over here. Not to the level that you get prizing of any of any decent stuff. So these online events that Tech keep putting on amazing for people like myself and the other Kiwi boys that enter these things, just so that we have access to these promos, we have access to these cards. Um, so yeah, I can't thank them enough for doing it. I want to thank the Double Sleeve crew for A, doing this deck profile, and B, streaming it. The stream was 4 games in a row of me playing this deck. I apologize for people watching. I'm sure that it wasn't too interesting seeing me play Gamma for 3.5 hours or something like that. But
This is how people are going to learn how to get that third place. So it's good
exactly.
experience.
If you're going to watch the stream games, stop right before my final turn against John, and then yeah, I played perfectly up until that final turn.
John is a very, very good player. So to lose to John is he's still got
Oh,
a lot of respect.
exactly. Yeah, no, I enjoyed my game against John. He played it perfectly, and I enjoyed every second of it. Shout out to Benny Zhang, one of the few Aussie boys that I'm good mates with. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, of the morning of the event, and I'm here in Discord playing a game with Benny, and he convinced me that Gammon was the way for me to play, and not some rogue deck that I usually play. So, shout out to Benny, and then a massive shout out to the New Zealand crew. The guys that come to the local hobby here in Auckland. You guys all mean so much to me. Shout out to Eli for giving me the SRs. My tribal chief Danny for the SCR. Matt and Jack, because I would suck if it wasn't for you two. The amount of games that I played against you guys, you two, you've made me so much better. And lastly, shout out to Ross and Jeff, the greatest father-son duo of them all. So, those are my list of shout outs.
Beautiful. Look, we do love you boys over in New Zealand. You're definitely part of the family, and we hope that you can one day get the in-person event you guys truly deserve. So hopefully that's coming for you guys in the future. Look, we'll wrap up this deck profile now. Tune into the channel, like this video and subscribe. Make sure you get on there and check out all of Mark's games because he piloted Gamma extremely well. Remember to just turn off just before the end of that last one there, and then yeah, that's pretty much it for the profile. So thank you, Mark. Congratulations on third, and to all of our viewers, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me.